Most advice on dealing with workplace bullying focuses on endurance, documentation, and corporate procedure. But this approach often misses the point. It treats a wound of the soul as if it were a mere administrative problem. The Sufi masters taught a different way, a path of radical inner freedom. The 13th century Persian sage, Saadi of Shiraz, shows us that true power doesn't come from fighting the system, but from understanding what you must be willing to give back. We find ourselves in a strange and difficult predicament in the modern world. Many of us spend the majority of our waking hours in environments that are not designed for our flourishing. We are subject to the pressures of hierarchies, the anxieties of performance reviews, and sometimes the quiet, soul-crushing poison of mobbing, disrespect, and the tyranny of an insecure boss. The conventional wisdom offers a set of pragmatic but ultimately hollow solutions. Keep a detailed record, report to human resources, practice assertive communication. These are the tools of a bureaucrat, not the remedies for a wounded spirit. They are attempts to fix a broken system from within, but they do little to heal the internal damage, the slow erosion of self-worth, the creeping anxiety that follows us home, the feeling of being trapped. We become prisoners of what are often called golden handcuffs. The paycheck, the benefits, the title, the perceived security, these become the bars of a comfortable cage. We tell ourselves we must endure the disrespect, the unreasonable demands, the subtle humiliations, because the cost of leaving is too high. We trade our inner peace for a sense of stability, and slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to die a little bit each day. It is into this very modern dilemma that the timeless wisdom of Saadi of Shiraz shines like a piercing light. He was a master of the human heart, an observer of the subtle transactions of power and dignity that define our lives. He understood that the most profound chains are not forged of iron, but of obligation. In one of his most startlingly relevant parables, he provides not a strategy for managing a toxic environment, but a key to unlocking our own inner prison. This is not a journey into corporate strategy. It is a deep dive into the nature of spiritual sovereignty. It is an invitation to discover that your freedom is not something a company can grant you, but something you must claim for yourself by understanding the true price of the gifts you accept. Saadi's wisdom is a scalpel. It cuts through layers of self-deception to reveal the core of an issue. His parable, taken from his masterwork, the Gulistan, is a perfect example. It is a story about a gift, an insult, and a moment of radical liberation. It is a mirror in which we can see the hidden dynamics of our own professional lives. The story unfolds with beautiful simplicity. A man of refined spirit, a person of the heart, was given a gift from a friend, a comb, exquisitely carved from ivory. It was a precious object, a symbol of affection and esteem. For a time, the gift was a source of joy, but relationships, as we know, can sour. The friendship frayed, and one day, in a moment of anger, the giver of the comb turned on the man and insulted him with a vile word. He called him a dog. In that moment, a profound spiritual transaction occurred. The man of spirit felt the sting of the insult, but he also saw, with sudden and absolute clarity, the true nature of the gift he was holding. He understood that the ivory comb was not a gift of pure generosity, but a token of obligation. It had become a leash. In a single, decisive action, the man threw the precious comb back at his former friend, and his words are the very heart of this teaching. He cried out, "I have no need of this bone. Just do not call me a dog again."
Let us sit with the power of that moment. The man's response is not a negotiation. It is not a complaint. It is a declaration of independence. He instantly understood a truth that we often spend years avoiding. The acceptance of a gift from a source without integrity creates a debt, a spiritual burden that Saadi calls minnet. This is more than just gratitude, it is a heavy weight of obligation that can be used as a weapon against you. The moment the giver used his power to dehumanize the man, he revealed that the gift had a hidden price: the man's silence, his compliance, his dignity. The ivory comb is the central metaphor, and it is a perfect symbol for the modern salary, the prestigious title, the corner office, or any perk that a powerful entity bestows upon us. We see it as a reward for our labor, a sign of our value. And it is, but it can also be, as Saadi warns, a tool of control. The company gives you the comb of a generous salary, and in return it expects not just your time and skill, but often your unquestioning loyalty. It expects you to tolerate the insults, the late-night emails, the unrealistic deadlines, the passive-aggressive comments from a manager, the culture of fear. You hesitate to push back, to draw a boundary, because you are holding their beautiful, expensive comb. You are living under the weight of that obligation. You are afraid of the one who can take the comb away. The insult, being called a dog, is the moment of awakening. It is the mobbing. It is the public humiliation in a meeting. It is the credit for your work being stolen. It is the gaslighting that makes you question your own sanity. This moment, as painful as it is a gift of a different kind. It is the gift of clarity. It shatters the illusion that you are in a relationship of mutual respect. It reveals the power dynamic for what it is. The insult tells you in no uncertain terms that in the eyes of the abuser, you are not a human being worthy of dignity. You are a creature that can be controlled, a dog that can be commanded. The man in the parable, in his spiritual genius, connects the gift to the insult. He calls the ivory comb a bone. "I have no need of this bone," he says. He sees that the precious object and the demeaning word are two sides of the same coin. The bone is what you give a dog to ensure its loyalty and obedience. By throwing it back, he is refusing to play the role assigned to him. He is saying, "You can keep your reward. I will keep my humanity. My dignity is not for sale at this or any price." This is an act of profound spiritual and psychological power. It is a radical detachment of one's identity from the external validations of the world. This is the very core of the Stoic path, as taught by philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics taught that the source of all our suffering is our attachment to things outside of our control, what they called externals. Our job, our salary, our reputation, the opinions of our boss. These are all externals. They can be given and they can be taken away. What is truly ours, what is within our control, is our inner state, our character, our judgments, and our response to what happens. The man in the parable performs a perfect Stoic maneuver. He relinquishes his attachment to the external, the comb, in order to preserve his internal state, his dignity. He realizes that freedom is not found in possessing the comb, but in being free from the comb. This is not a call for reckless martyrdom or for everyone to quit their jobs tomorrow. Saadi was a pragmatist. The act of throwing back the comb is, first and foremost, an internal act. It is a shift in consciousness. It is the moment you look at your paycheck, your title, and your position, and you make a quiet, unshakable decision in the sanctuary of your own heart. This is a tool I use. This is a role I play, but this is not who I am. My worth is not determined by this. I am willing to let this go if the price becomes my soul.
The moment you make that internal decision, the entire power dynamic shifts. You are no longer operating from a place of fear, but from a place of sovereignty. The boss's moods, the toxic colleague's schemes, the company's pressures, they lose their power over you because you are no longer clinging desperately to the bone. You can show up and do your work with excellence and professionalism, but you are emotionally detached from the outcome. Your spirit is free. This inner freedom then allows you to make clear, wise decisions about your external reality, whether that means setting a firm boundary, seeking a new position from a place of strength, or simply navigating your current role with a newfound peace that no tyrant can touch. Let us bring the wisdom of this ancient story into the very real circumstances of your life. This is not an exercise in theory. It is a practical path to reclaiming your inner freedom. Find a moment of quiet. Settle your body and your mind. Let this be a space of honest and compassionate self-inquiry. First, I invite you to identify your own ivory combs. Take a gentle inventory of your professional life. What are the things you are clinging to that create that feeling of heavy obligation? Is it the salary, which affords you a lifestyle you are afraid to lose? Is it the prestige of your title or the company you work for, which has become tied to your sense of identity? Is it the approval of your boss, which you find yourself working tirelessly to maintain, even at the cost of your own well-being? Is it simply the fear of the unknown, the fear of unemployment, that keeps you locked in a painful situation? Name them. Acknowledge them. See them not as good or bad, but simply as the combs you are holding. Feel their weight in your psychic hands. Understand that this weight, this minute, is the source of your paralysis. Now, with the same gentle honesty, I invite you to acknowledge the insults. What is the price you have been paying for these combs? Recall the moments your dignity has been compromised, the demeaning comment that was played off as a joke, the unreasonable demand made at the end of the day, the feeling of being invisible or unappreciated, the slow, creeping anxiety that begins on Sunday afternoon. Don't dwell in the pain, but see these moments with the clarity of the man in the parable. Recognize them not as personal failures, but as the inevitable consequence of a system in which you have traded a piece of your sovereignty for a beautiful object. See the connection. The comb is held and the insult is received. They are part of the same transaction. Finally, let us contemplate the act of liberation. Imagine, in the theater of your mind, the act of throwing the comb back. I want to be very clear. This does not necessarily mean drafting your resignation letter. It is an internal act of release.
Visualize the comb, your salary, your title, your need for approval. In your mind's eye, see yourself holding it. Feel its weight. And then make the conscious decision to let it go. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, release your desperate grip on it. Say to yourself, I have no need of this bone. My humanity is more precious. Feel the shift inside you. The fear may still be there, but it is no longer your master. You have reclaimed your center. From this new place of inner freedom, what becomes possible? Perhaps you can now speak a difficult truth with calm detachment. Perhaps you can set a boundary around your time with a newfound firmness. Perhaps you can begin your search for a new role, not from a place of desperate escape, but from a place of centered self-worth. The external action will follow the internal shift, but the inner shift must come first. You must first decide, in the core of your being, that your soul is not for sale. Practice this inner release every day. Every time you feel the sting of an insult, remind yourself that you are no longer clinging to the bone. You are a free being, temporarily playing a role. This is the path to becoming untouchable.